This is Keys to Success, your foot in the door to the real estate world, featuring the Jeff Cook Real Estate Team.
Okay, so hi again. You guys remember me from last month. My name is Harley. I am the talent specialist over at Jeff Cook Real Estate LPT Realty, and I think you remember that way. Matt?
Yep, that's me. This is Matt Carnes. I am the inside sales manager here at Jeff Cook Real Estate LPT Realty.
And then we got a couple of new faces with us this month. Alma is also part of the Jeff Cook team. If you want to introduce yourself real fast.
Yeah, awesome. Like they said, I'm Alma. I am a inside sales associate as well as a talent recruiter here at Jeff Cook too.
And then we have Noah, who actually came to us as a potential agent. And we wanted to get a little bit of an inside look at what might be going through people's minds on the other side so that we get both sides of it on screen for you. Noah, do you want to tell a little bit about yourself?
Sure. First, thanks for having me. This is going to be immensely fun. I love doing this kind of thing. I've been in the Charleston area since about 2017. My expertise, if you want to call it that, is hotel management. I'm a general manager of a Cambria here right off of the peninsula. But I've always been interested in, real estate. My parents growing up earlier, they dabbled in that. We owned some houses and, my mom was a realtor briefly. I think the two kind of get married. I think having like a little bit of hospitality background and being able to sell to people, is something I feel like I can do. But but I'm also a big geek. Love comic books, love outdoor stuff, fishing, all that good stuff. A father, recently married, remarried. We won't count how many times I've been married. If you can guess, then you win a prize. But no, it's a great opportunity. I've known Harley for a good long time now. So thanks again for having the opportunity to answer some of my questions.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. We are kind of doing a different thing every month. And this month I said we were going to talk a little bit about embracing change and your expertise and things like that. And that transition period into going from being a success in whatever career you happen to be in, and taking that same type of drive and pushing it into starting your real estate career through your education and then pushing it all the way through actually becoming a full-blown agent. So that is kind of where we are going today. I know, Noah, you, like you said, you're in a completely different industry, and obviously you had some background in real estate from your mom. Mm-hmm. But obviously there's a little bit of, you didn't go that route. So what is kind of swinging you back around? And I know Matt has a couple of questions for you. So I want to make sure that you guys are able to talk and we know like what the drive is for people to even make that change.
Sure. Part of it for me is when I grew up, we also sort of switched houses a little bit. Mm-hmm. We, kind of went from place to place depending on work and moved to a couple of different states. My personal favorite thing in the world was to go to different houses, go to open houses, see the bare bones. My parents were also very hands-on. Dad's electrician, plumber, seeing the process, but it's ultimately making people happy. That's kind of why I got into this business, not for the glamour, because there's none. For listening to folks tell me why they are traveling to Charleston, connecting with people and finding the need and what they want and having you be able to fulfill that with them. I've loved this business for the last 20 years, and I could probably continue on for another 20 years, but I've always had that spark and passion and thought of, what does it take to be a realtor? And certainly in Charleston, when it seems like there might be almost unlimited possibility. The stats of people moving to Charleston every single day are still there. There's always a need. And I would like to use my talents and skills to see if I can fulfill that need in the people that are looking to relocate or move or whatever reason they want to have a new house in Charleston.
Absolutely. We're really glad to have you here, Noah. What has happened in your life? Because I know real estate is a really large industry and it's very different than what you're doing now. But what has happened in your life that has wanted you to get involved in real estate? What's brought you to this point?
Sure. If I'm being 100% honest, when you work at even at an industry you love that never shuts down, um, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for 20 years, you can lose part of, yourself and, time with family. So I was pursuing something that I could absolutely love that not necessarily would involve someone calling me at midnight that, there's a thousand other things happening. So I'm looking to marry my passion with something that allowed me more freedom, but also more creative freedom within a certain umbrella.
Sure.
And a lot of it's Harley too. She sort of pushed me into wanting, to pursue this, and it's something I always wanted, but it's always been pushed to the back burner, right? Couldn't sustain a family with that. Previous marriage, so it's a combination of things. So now I feel like I'm in a place where I'm ready and wanting to take the next step and seeing what all those steps entail.
Yeah, no, make sure Harley doesn't push you too hard. We want you to join the team, but we don't want you to go anywhere except to us.
There we go.
How do you financially prepare yourself for this change? Because it's very different getting into real estate compared to what you're doing right now. How do you financially prepare yourself to maintain your lifestyle and all your needs and everything?
Sure. Luckily, what I do on a regular basis is a lot of budgeting. I can read a P&L backwards, forwards, all over the place. So taking the next step, finding the information, budgeting family and finances, and to see where the gaps may be. Have a nice savings right now in case, because right now going from salary to something that's not, in my mind, an immediate source of income. I mean, it will get there because there's a building block. You have to build on everything. But having a nice, strong savings account, having a supportive partner, but then also pretty much nailing every single finance down for a foreseeable. So having strong budgeting skills and analyzing, expenses, I think is a great gift that I have, and is something I'm certainly going to use moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Harley, what are the different ways that somebody like Noah or anybody else that's watching right now, what are the other ways that they can get into Jeff Cook Real Estate LPT Realty? Because there's a couple different ways, aren't there?
So there is a couple of different ways, and it depends on what people are trying to do and where they think they're going to see the best version of themselves, which is the whole point of what we're talking about. Joining the Jeff Cook Real Estate team within LPT is, of course, the way we want you guys to join. We offer the lead generation. We offer the full training. You come in as a buyer's agent, you go through the training, you take on listings, and then you can jump into our investment branches and jump into property management. We have all these different pieces that fall into place. But for somebody maybe not as far along and hasn't thought about it quite as hard as Noah has, there's going directly to LPT, which without the team, which doesn't give you the lead generation and doesn't give you the hands-on training, but certainly gives you your broker and gives you your support and marketing. So there's benefits to that. And at that point, you really do kind of come and go as you please. You're hanging your license, you're legal, you can do it, but it's much more independently. So those are the two big branches that I look at. There's some people that start in real estate and they're like, I want to do real estate, but I want to go commercial. LPT has actually allowed the Jeff Cook Real Estate team to open themselves up to commercial real estate. So since October, our agents have been able to do that as well. We don't have the same kind of lead generation right now, but I think that's something that's on the horizon. So you can go into commercial real estate with the stepping stones that it brings you. It just depends, again, what you're doing and where you think you can take that and turn it into something that you want to do more than whatever you're doing right now.
Yeah, that's perfect. There's definitely more than one way. There are definitely options. Mm-hmm. That's one reason why I absolutely love our company and our brokerage. And Noah, thanks for sharing everything that you have about your journey thus far. I understand that you've got some questions as well, and we would love to answer some of those. So what do you have for us today? What can we help you with?
Well, Harley answered sort of one of my big questions. Charleston's a large market. There are a plethora of, realtors you can work for, but, what sets Jeff Cook apart? What makes people want to go to Jeff Cook and not even consider any other? I mean, you answered a little bit, but if you want to expound upon something further, I'd appreciate that.
Yeah, I think Alma actually has touched on a few different departments than I have even in. So I'd like her to kind of take that on and all the things that are a little different about us.
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually started out as an agent, realized that I'm more of a teacher than a discoverer, as Matt and I have talked about. I'm grateful that was brought up. So what really sets us apart from other brokerages is just like Hurley said, our leads. Our new agents have access to over 500,000 leads on their first day so that they're set up for success, because that's what we want. We want everyone to succeed in this business, and we're all a team. Another thing is our extensive training. Just like Hurley said again, we have a 3-step agent mastery that is really hands-on. It puts you through a mock process of, meeting fake buyers all the way through practicing what happens at the closing table. You're set up with managers and mentors for one-on-one training, and just they're available to you at all times for you to ask questions and get things answered in a timely manner, of course. One of my favorite things actually is the culture here at Jeff Cook Real Estate. We definitely believe that it's a main pillar that supports growth and success within the company. So it's more than just like being friendly with, your coworkers. It's really a family here. I can definitely tell you that I've met some of my best friends and the family that I've chosen here at Jeff Cook Real Estate. And I'm just so grateful for the opportunity to be here, through my whole process from beginning to where I am now. And I've been with the company for, I'll be coming up on a year in February. But from events to office wars, I mean, we've got it all. It's pretty awesome being here.
If you follow any of us on social media, you'll understand the office wars. We have giant gorillas that travel from office to office. It's fun.
Yeah.
What you mean, stolen?
Stolen.
Yes,
yes.
stolen. They're stolen.
No,
one more thing I wanted to just touch on before we moved on was Jeff Cook Cares. It's something where we partner with local schools and nonprofit organizations in our local community. We can make significant differences in the lives of kids and families in our own backyards. So we as a whole, Jeff Cook Real Estate, our company, sets aside 1% of company side commission to donate to current and future initiatives. And when joining Jeff Cook Real Estate, you actually have the opportunity to contribute to these initiatives and organizations and be an active participant and volunteer. We've been able to partner with, I don't know the current stats, but I know at one point it was 140 organizations by Buy a Home, Give a Home, backpack give backs, school supply drives, Day of Giving. And my favorite is Jeff's Potty, where we partner with local animal shelters on Jeff's birthday. And the funds that are raised through Jeff Cook Cares actually goes towards adoptions, and it covers the cost of adoptions for animals in the shelter to be able to be adopted out at no cost.
We did 100 adoptions last year.
Wow.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was going to touch on that. I couldn't remember the exact stat, but I knew that we had come closer, had met 100 adoptions.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I mean, you had me at Office Gorillas, but you really sold me with the community, because I think for me, that's an important part. I mean, we are our community. So if you are providing housing and new houses for people and putting them in places, you want to also give back to the community. And that right there is a perfect example, I think, of what sets Jeff Cook apart. And that's really cool. Plus, there at one time, I must say, a few years back, there was some wonderful advertising with some Game of Thrones type billboards that I would see on the side of the road. So I knew it'd be a fun kind of place, period. But that was awesome.
We have a 30-person operations center. That's all marketing. I can't take they've got a special set of skills in there.
We got in trouble for a few of those.
Oh no,
Yeah,
I didn't know
that's
that.
how you know they work. People
Exactly.
noticing them.
Yep. There's no bad publicity, right?
Nope, no
There
such
you go.
thing.
No, that's awesome.
No such thing. P.T. Barnum. So one of my other questions is, because we talked about budgeting, so I've done a little bit of research on sort of the cost to get started. But if anyone would sort of kind of give a quick breakdown of sort of the overall cost I can expect, so I can float that into my budget.
So we tell people a few different things just depending on which part of the process you're in. The managers have done good to kind of prepare people to spend between $1,100 and $1,500 on those initial costs. So your education, which is about $600, you can find it a little bit less. You can find it for as much as like $800 or $900. That's the bulk of what we tell you to put aside. There's some cost into the testing itself. And the applications and things like that. And then buying into the MLS. And if you want to become a realtor, there's fees associated with that as well. So somewhere in that $1,100 to $1,500 mark, but that's not all at once. So, you're looking at over the time it becomes you to be an agent. The bigger financial block that I find with people is something that you actually already covered. And it's having the savings or having a partner or having roommates or having somebody to financially support the back end of you becoming an agent, because it's a building block. Like you said, you're building a snowball. When you come in, you're not going to have a paycheck immediately. It's commission. So you need those first couple of months. And I've seen people say anywhere between 2 months and 6 months, just depending on how hard you hit, to where you start getting consistent closings, because you're talking about the average contract here being 30 to 45 days. And that's after you find a home. So we give you those couple of months to go on. And I think we back that up with our reimbursement program. So we do, if you can do 3 closings with us in the first 6 months or 8 closings in the first 12. So as you see, the first spot is a little bit smaller because we don't expect you to be able to jump right in. Once you get to the 1 year mark, you're looking at 8 closings. They actually reimburse you for the cost of your class. Which is, a great little kickback when you don't have a ton of money coming in. So, like I said, it's only about $600 you're getting back, but that's $600 that you need right now because you're building your clientele.
Excellent. That answers that question 100%. And the return is awesome. It kind of floats kind of smoothly and seamlessly into my next question. So I've decided that now is the right time for me. But is it the right time for Charleston? What is sort of like the outlook in 2024 as far as, is it a good time for me to jump in? Do you have any projections of sort of, what the market looks like for this year, or just sort of numbers from last year?
There are some numbers. I don't have exact numbers. I'll tell you that there is always something going on, something changing. Real estate is a situation where the market is never going to be stationary. So right now you're seeing, if you listen to your radio ads and listen to your lenders, rates are starting to creep back down, which incentivizes people to run out and buy. So you have that upkeep. Now, of course, with higher demand, you have higher home prices. So it balances itself out through the process. The big thing that we have going for us is that we live in a city and a state where business is coming in. Businesses are moving to South Carolina, moving to Charleston. So even if other areas are slowing down, and I can't speak outside of South Carolina, but I've heard, agents I know that are friends in other states saying things are a little quieter. It doesn't get too quiet here because there's still an influx of people. I think last quarter, like we were talking about being a lead generating brokerage, we had something like almost 7,000 new leads come in the last quarter of the year. So I don't know what January has looked like for our agents, but certainly things have looked good in 2023.
That's very impressive and well said. I see it in the hospitality business as far as ADR growth year over year, occupancy growth. People are always coming to Charleston. So I've been a person that obviously makes mistakes. I have a staff that do the same thing. Is there any pitfalls or any sort of mistakes that you've seen that, like a first time like person wanting to get into this that has made before that I can maybe avoid?
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure
I
there's
can
been
definitely touch on
Go
that.
ahead.
So definitely the most common mistakes that we've seen is not asking for help or asking questions, not coming into the office or even taking on training as a whole. We all want you, and most brokerages and sales managers want you to succeed. And so we're all here to help you get started. We've seen a lot of newer agents not asking for help, and then their success falls behind. But the more questions you ask, the more involved you get, just the more that you hit it head on, the more that you'll be set up for success and building your pipeline and building your business, and ultimately yourself setting you up for success in this business.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's a really good one. Knowing there's that layer of help, because and certainly for someone like me, even though that I'm the general manager, I have people I report to and people that report under me.
Right.
So switching from that constant structure to what a perceived notion of I'm more on my own, it's nice to know that there's help to answer any questions and things that I may have. Let's see, you mentioned Office, and you've mentioned the gorillas, which is great. That was on my list. I didn't know about it. But once, let's say, once everything's done and the license is obtained and, the deal's worked out with Jeff Cook and it's a great match, is there an expectation of office hours or office time? And I only say that too because, there is in this business.
So it depends on whether you're talking about requirements or expectations. We have a requirement that our agents that are using our services come to our sales meetings. We have 2 sales meetings a month. Okay. We expect you to participate in those. It's only an hour and a half of your time, not a huge chunk. Everything else, remember that being a real estate agent, you're a contracted employee. You're basically self-employed. You're running your own business. You make that look how you want to look at it. On that same note, we want you to participate. The early stages involve a lot of training. We'd like to see you come physically in for it, even though a lot of it is online. But somebody's there to listen to your mock call. Somebody's there to answer your questions if you're in the office. I'd say our managers, and I'm not one, would probably step up and say, our agents that put 20 hours a week into being in the office are probably far more successful than our agents that are always about. But we can't look at you and say, hey, you need to sit down in this office 20 hours a week and be on the phone. And as a newer agent, you're probably going to spend more time on the phone as somebody's been doing this 3, 4, 5 years, because you're going to have a sphere of influence as you grow. You're going to start getting referrals in. You're going to be doing more showings. You're going to be out with people more. In those early stages, you need to build that. It's going to involve more time sitting down. But again, the requirement is really going to be your requirement, what your business plan ends up being, and we can tell you what you need to do to make that happen, and you have to enforce that for yourself.
So that's an excellent answer, and it makes total sense too. And that's the kind of structure I would need. If you've spent the time to go through the courses and learning and take the test, why would you just stop learning? Why would you not continue that process on? I only have really one final question, and you've really portrayed what I would look for in, trying to come aboard Jeff Cook. What are you guys looking for? Like, what is the ideal Jeff Cook candidate in your mind?
Oh, goodness. I think we all probably have something a little bit different to answer that question with. I would say when I do my initial conversation with people, and Alma might look for something different. I look for somebody who is going to push, that sounds motivated. Like, I can give you all the information, but if I give it to you and I check back within you in 2 weeks or a month and they're like, oh yeah, I think I forgot to look over it, I'm probably not going to keep checking on you. I'll be there for you if you reach out to me. But this is a very self-motivated field. And if you don't show any signs of being self-motivated, it just doesn't work. Do you look for anything different? Okay.
Yeah, honestly, I'm with you. I look for self-motivation, let's do this, or ask questions about it, someone who's interested in the process, of moving forward, and what do I need to do on my end to get this going, and just someone who sounds like they're ready to move forward.
Matt, you've done some hiring. Are you looking for anything different?
High self-motivation is absolutely key. Being able to speak coherently, knowledgeably, is absolutely key. But you also have to know that this is an always learning industry. I've been here for 6 years and I am still learning something new.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, Harley, Alma, Matt, you've pretty much answered all the questions I have. It's kind of been a pleasure. I do have to jet out, unfortunately, but I'm humbled that you included me here today. It makes me feel great. And I'm even more excited. I'm leaving this meeting even more excited about the prospect and even more pumped up. And I thank you for that.
That's the whole goal. I appreciate it. You take care of yourself and you have a great time.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Kel.
Thanks, Matt.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Noah.
All right, guys. Well, that was a fun back and forth. I think that gives everybody an idea on both sides of what we're looking for, of what kind of questions that we think maybe you have that you haven't come to with us yet. If you haven't called us, if you haven't applied yet, we have no way of answering questions. So hopefully that is a little bit of insight into the type of questions that we do answer every day and how we do take that and we really do help you strive for that excellence that we push for internally.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. And Alma, we are not only glad that you're here with us today, but I'm really happy you're part of our team because we absolutely love having you here with us. What advice do you have for someone who's maybe on the precipice of maybe jumping into real estate or maybe for that matter, maybe even jumping out?
Well, honestly, you kind of just have to determine for yourself. You really need to just sit there and look at yourself right now and in the future, determine if that's really something that you need or want to make a change in your life or your career at this point. But if you have questions or are unsure, find a resource like Harley, myself, or, an agent that that's currently in the field to be able to ask questions and get answers. But we definitely have, an apprenticeship program that's designed specifically for that. So you can see if this is something that you really want to do, or maybe you don't. And that's completely okay. There's nothing wrong with knowing that you don't want to be in real estate, but it's jumping in to find out.
Absolutely. Harley, with being an agent here with us is, absolutely fulfilling. It's a fantastic experience filled with great people who can help educate and you can learn from and all that. But there's a number of other positions that are available here with us at Jeff Cook Real Estate LPT Realty. Tell us about the different opportunities that are available here other than being an agent.
So while, of course, our main, attraction is going to be agents, and people look at that in its own light, you also have different types of agents. So like I said earlier at the beginning, I was like, you could be a buyer's agent, you could be a listing agent. Most of our agents do both. You can also be a commercial agent. If you want to work on the operations team with us, it's based in Charleston, so that doesn't work all over the state. And it's, of course, not as big as our agent pool, but we have openings that come up. We have a closing department, a listing department, a marketing department. Obviously, you have, inside sales where we all kind of live. So there are opportunities outside of being an agent that still allow you to participate in real estate. And that is specifically working with the Jeff Cook team, but not necessarily working as an agent with LPT Realty.
Got it. And Alma, for somebody who has been both an agent and part of the inside sales team, what was the catalyst for you to find the right role here within our company?
Honestly, it was just jumping in. I knew not to completely go into my whole JCRE journey, but I was driving back and forth, on Treeland, where our main office is, and I saw the Jeff Cook sign, driving back and forth 6 days a week. Sometimes I'd be working double shifts as a retail manager, wanting that change, but not knowing what exactly it was. And, I would keep driving. And finally ended up looking into Jeff Cook Real Estate, dove right into the website, found resources. I mean, the website is built for you to look into and, get questions answered or reach out to someone who can answer them over the phone. So I really was just over, not having a family life. And I looked into becoming an agent. I jumped right in. I went straight in and I did that for a few months before I realized that, maybe that wasn't for me, and went through some personal things. And we chatted with Jeff, my sales manager, and Jeff, and we, put me on the inside sales team, so I can have the opportunity to be with my family back home. So that really also goes back into how great the culture is here, putting family first. And it was then that I realized that I absolutely loved what I was doing, setting appointments, setting success for other agents, who would return the favor for me, and then joining the recruiting team with Harley and everyone else. And that's just been something that I didn't know and wouldn't have known that I would have absolutely loved being a part of had I not been driving back and forth past the JCRE head office. So.
Absolutely. Thanks for sharing that. There's so much opportunity here at Jeff Cook Real Estate that, we are glad to be able to share all of this with you.
I think we are all having a good time. And I think everything that we went over today really sets as an example how we take the excellence that we have in other aspects of our life, and help people dive right in. And they take that through their education. We're there through the education process. We're there as they become the agents. We're even there for them if they decide being an agent, it may not be quite what they want to do. Yep. So, and that's been great. And, I have a similar story as far as working with the company to work around all of my, family emergencies and family needs. And it has certainly been an adaptable experience. So hopefully, if you are somebody who's out there and just not sure real estate is right, or you are sure real estate is right and you're just not sure what kind of brokerage is right for you, hopefully this answers some questions about who we really are, and the opportunities that are provided here. So I think this was fun.
Oh, I love this. This was amazing.
And so next month, because we're only doing this once a month right now, in March, we're going to go over all things communication. So if you are an agent or you're becoming an agent or you don't know if you want to become an agent, we're going to go over all the different communication tools on how to help that process next month. But other than that, I think for today, we are happy and content. We'll leave everything up for just a couple minutes to let people ask questions if they want to ask questions. We try to pull questions. We didn't this time just because we had Noah and there was a lot of back and forth questions there. But we're more than happy to answer questions. And if you want questions directly, call us, or there's a link scrolling through. You can apply, and we will call you. So,